Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? How you doing, man?
Ted, like the song says, left, right, left to New Jersey to take on those New York Giants. Let's get it.
Man, I was walking into Costco today, and I actually had on my DC proper jacket, the same one you're wearing right now. I had to take it off before we started recording this so we didn't look like twins. And I'm walking in. You know how the guy checks your Costco card when you walk through, right?
Right.
And the guy yells when I'm a couple feet past him, "Go Cowboys." And you know I can't walk away without saying something to him. So we're arguing in Costco right at the front door. And I'm asking the guy, where's he from? And he's saying PG. Said, just because you may have flown on an airplane that stopped in Texas doesn't mean you're a Cowboys fan. Do we even know where it is? And we're just finally, I had to keep quiet and just walk away. But I feel like because we're 7-5 right now and we're doing better, the rivalry is somewhat starting to come back. And it's okay to talk trash to those Bamas, even though they don't even know what Texas looks like on a map. And I cannot wait until week 18 when we actually get to go up against them in our house.
Yeah.
And I apologize to you, man. I realized last night that week 18 games can get flexed to Saturday. And we won't know until technically January 3rd if our game is going to move to the Saturday or the Sunday.
That sucks.
Yeah, man, it's frustrating because a couple things going on behind the works with the friends at Woodbridge Collectibles and a couple alumni. And if it was going to be that Saturday, would have had something sweet set up. But now that we're in limbo, which don't get me wrong, this is a great problem to have. It's a first world NFL problem.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But not knowing when our Giants game is in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and not knowing when that Cowboys game is going to be, kind of puts a damper on everything when you're trying to plan and organize rallies like you did last week versus the Falcons, and me for what in the world I'm going to make for the Giants and the Cowboys coming up down the road.
Well, hey, man, all we can do is just keep our fingers crossed and keep our ear to the ground, because whether we want it to or not, it's going to happen. And like you said, it's a good thing to have, good problem to have. And I, for one, am happy to have that problem. I'm getting people who are questioning me as far as, if by chance we make the playoffs, are you going to put a package together? And I said, heck yeah, just be prepared that it's probably going to cost because of the short notice.
Yeah.
And if we had to do it today, I think we'd be playing the Vikings.
We would. So if everything ended today, we're on the 7th seed and we'd be going to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like wearing anything over top my jersey. So I will wear 4 Under Armour layers looking like Stay Puft with my jersey on top, wearing the schmedium before I cover up my gear. But if we're playing in Minnesota, we're going to be in a dome.
In a dome. That's right.
But tailgating and getting through there is just going to be a frozen nightmare. So I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And I know I'm putting the cart before the horse. I actually wanted to ask you, Is it too early to start talking about the P word?
No, it's not too early to start talking about it. And the fact is, we're not saying that we're there. We're saying, hey, there's possibilities that we could be there. That's all we're saying. No one has said, hey, we're crowning us 2022, 2023 Super Bowl champions. No one's saying that at all. We're just saying, wow, when's the last time that we have even been able to remotely talk about it? The possibility. That's what we're talking about, the possibility. So you got to do it. Otherwise, you might as well crawl up under a rock, because the last time that I think we even talked like this was probably 2015, 2016?
2018 was the last time we were 2 games above 500 this late in the season. So I would say it's probably 2018. was the last time we kind of hinted at doing it. But the way things are going right now, we have a chance to overtake the Giants for the 6th seed.
Right.
So if we beat the Giants this week, we could take the 6th seed. If we lose versus the Giants, then we're tied for the 7th seed with the Vikings, and we actually lose that tiebreaker because the Vikings are 5-4 in the NFC, and we're 4-5 in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
So losing that game against the Vikings earlier this year, being an NFC game, a game that was so winnable, hopefully doesn't come back to bite us in the butt, but we control our own destiny. And that's really all that matters.
There you go.
These guys know that. And they mentioned it, like every game is a playoff game and a playoff atmosphere. And speaking of which, did you hear what Ryan Clark said about FedEx Field the other day on the NFL or on ESPN talking about us?
Are you speaking of the comment of it was like a college atmosphere?
Yeah, man. Let me play this for those that have not heard it.
You know what normally happens, though, when a team can stop the run, you can normally look at the other side of the football, and they run the football well, right? Because every day you're in practice, and that's what's being preached in the building, though, right? And in training camp, they're saying, hey, look, on offense, we're going to run the football, and we're going to practice that every day. So now defensively, you got to bowl your net every practice because you're taking on double teams, guys getting to the second level, and it's getting physical. Well, what's happened is now that Brian Robinson has kind of emerged, and he's added just a different level of physicality to the run game, it's changed the entire energy of the team. This team now has an identity. They're going to come out, they're going to play tough, physical football on both sides of the line of scrimmage. You got a quarterback who, just going to be honest, sign me up to play any day as a secondary. But when you look at him on this team, he gives the energy. And I was in the stadium this weekend for Sean Taylor's installation. Shout out to my brother, man. Miss you much. And the energy in that stadium is like college, right? It's almost a collegiate feel. There's a feel of like, that's our people. There's a connection. I think it's because of the quarterback, but I also think it's because now they know they have an identity as a team.
I appreciate Ryan saying that. We are not there yet as a fan base and as a stadium. I'd love to know what section Ryan was sitting in or which one his suite was right next to. But it does feel like a college atmosphere when Taylor does something well or when Terry makes a catch, because everyone's yelling Terry, 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 or Heineke, to the point of I'm standing on my chair, hoping not to slip, bust my ass, and break my spine because I'm standing trying to wave people down to keep them quiet.
Can't stand it,
But,
bro.
That level of excitement is definitely there. It's just not there consistently yet. But having Ryan preach that to the masses on ESPN, nothing but good stuff for us, man. Because FedEx ain't a bad place. And you know that I love it. I know you do too.
Yeah. You know, I don't know how many people this week hit me up and said, you know what? I'm going to become a season ticket holder in 2023. So winning cures all. We've said it many a times. I mean, ad nauseum. It cures all, and it's curing all. And I want us to continue Peter rolling these teams. That's going to be our term, Peter rolling. We're going to continue Peter rolling these teams, man, and show them what we're truly made of. You know, we went from NFC least to now look at us.
Yeah, man. Ever since you did that video, I'm going to say it was probably you that did, but ever since you did that video, October 23rd, the Giants were 6-1 and the Commanders were 3-4. Fast forward 5 weeks, the Giants are 7-4 and we're 7-5. You know, it's crazy what a difference 5 weeks makes.
Yeah.
You know, we had lost to the Tennessee Titans. I don't even want to go back and listen to what I said, but I know how I felt and what was going on, you know, and this is just a different squad right now, and it's a different team. And a lot of people have been wondering, what is it? What has made that change? Is there any one big thing that you would put it on? Well, Nikki Javala asked Coach Rivera that the other day, what's kind of the biggest catalyst for this change? And this is what Coach had to say.
Ron, looking back to the start of the season and looking at where your team is now, what do you think has been like sort of the biggest catalyst for their growth and improvement this season?
Well, I think a number of things. Obviously it's probably just a residual of having gone through, being some of these guys being here a couple of years, going through OTA mini camp, training camp, and just kind of it coming together, working with each other, playing with each other, just kind of, the light bulb going off, a number of things like that. And I do think though, and I know it's a little thing, or some people might look at a little thing, or it's an excuse, but it took a little bit for Brian Robinson to come back. We kind of showed our hand during the preseason of what we wanted to do and how we wanted to be on offense, and using that two-back tandem. And I really do think that that being able to commit to the run the way we have has really helped us, and I think that's a real big part of it.
So hearing what Coach had to say, I would love to know what Rally thinks is the biggest difference over these past 5 weeks.
What I see is guys communicating on and off the field and committing to a true brotherhood with each other. That's what I see. I see that you are truly are going to fight for the man next to you, whereas before you may have said it, but this is kind of lip service. But now I see it, that they want to help each and every one on the field succeed as a unit together. I don't necessarily see there any jealousy. Well, you got the ball 3 times and I only got it once. I don't see that. I see everybody playing their part, because at any given time, the ball can and will come to them. So you better be ready. And one of the things that they always say is stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I see the offensive line gelling. Now, they aren't a top tier line like some of the other squads in the NFL, but they work for us. And that's why I always try to get people to understand, you don't have to be like everybody else. Just do what's right for you and your nucleus. And that's what I see as the difference, man. And the defense, we always knew we had a stout defense, but I think we mentioned it last week. Hey, once WJ3, once he left, things started to change. Curl being back, Ted, those boys are laying wood. I ain't got to tell you, those boys are laying wood, man.
They are.
I mean,
Defo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are laying wood, man, and nobody's gonna take us lightly. They're gonna understand what's going on with us, and so that's what I truly see, man. I see that brotherhood finally coming together, and I always told you, I see we have pieces, but will those pieces ever come together? And now the pieces have come together.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, all teams look good, but you never know how guys are going to gel, how guys are going to mesh. And obviously, William Jackson III is something that we can all easily point to because he's no longer here and the defense has done well. I think more so than William Jackson being gone, it's Cam Curl getting his legs back and getting in football shape and actually being more comfortable, which has then allowed other guys to be where they're supposed to be. But for me, it's what John Matsko has done with this offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the beginning of the year, we were crushing them, and rightfully so. The O-line was bad, but I feel that was because Trey Turner wasn't truly healthy, and you had guys in that were kind of hiding weaknesses. And next thing you know, we had Nick Martin, who probably should change his last name because he's doing his brother Zach a disservice by using it in its center. I mean, we picked up a guy off the street, but now you got Tyler Larson that's come in, who did very well for us last year after Chase Rouillet went down, and Tyler's doing a good job. I mean, the Falcons had, according to Pro Football Focus, the #1 rush blocking offensive line. And you saw what we did against the run against them. They got their yards, but just because they had that, they weren't an all-around team to win that game. And different facets of us. It reminds me of what Coach Zampese told me at that sit down Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
You get your 10s to play like 10s. You get your 4s to play like 4s, your 7s to play like 7s. If guys can play within their God-given ability, and the team is doing that all at the same time, then that's all you need. And our stars are playing like stars. John and Duran taking on double and triple teams. I mean, losing Cole Holcomb could have been just massive, but Jamin Davis stepping up. I mean, I hate to say it, but hats off to coach for getting Jamin that practice at Mike last year, because now he's got that green dot and he's doing well. And I did not see this. I don't know anyone other than Jamin's parents and Rivera and Del Rio in their dreams seeing Jamin Davis play like this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want to say it's 4 that's leading this. Sorry, it's not. There is more than one man on this team that has made them turn around these past 5 weeks. And yes, it's exciting to see 4 on that field and it gives you extra energy. But seeing what this defense has done, to me, they're the catalyst for this change. The ball hawk that Defoe has turned into, 2 turnovers in that Eagles game. I mean, we just went through Sean Taylor Day, and I am not trying to compare him to Sean by any means, but the last time we had a safety kind of roam the field from sideline to sideline was him. And Defoe has a long way to go, even trying that. But it's just nice to see that there is potential there from a young man that they drafted that didn't really play or do much year 1 because he got hurt. And it's just exciting because if they can do that, man, I mean, Cam Curl still got 1 more year on his deal next year. So to be able to lock Cam up after next year and you got Defoe back there, you've got a chance to have a young defense that is sound and is not costing you an arm and a leg. You know, I'm thinking Legion of Boom, Seattle Seahawks style back there.
Well, one thing is for sure, they are definitely laying that boom on them, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
And no, there are no squatters here, bro. And one thing that is interesting, I'm not sure if you saw this, but Landon Collins was saying that he hopes that he gets to play against us.
I hope he does too.
And he said that he really hopes he gets to play against us. So
I hope he does too, because he is a box safety, and I can't wait to see us go over top on his ass.
Expose him, huh?
Oh, yeah. Everyone did. They exposed him when he was here. There's a reason why Gettleman didn't sign to that big contract and no one wanted him after the fact. And we know his weaknesses. We all saw him firsthand. And you know what makes me so mad about Landon Collins? It's not the fact that he fleeced us for all that money. It's the fact that Dan Snyder gave him one of the few Sean Taylor game-worn jerseys out there that was autographed that exist when we signed Landon. That's what pisses me off the most about him coming here. And you remember when he wanted to wear 21?
Yeah.
He couldn't even put 21 on his jockstrap. I mean, he was garbage when he was here. And the thought that he actually wanted to put that number on that field, step out in burgundy and gold wearing that, man, pitchforks and torches if that would have happened. And I am just so happy he's gone and that he didn't tarnish 2-1's legacy by putting that jersey on.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been good.
No.
Wouldn't have been good.
No, but you know what will be good is our boys Woodbridge Collectibles for the holidays. I hung out with Rudy for the World Cup. So
nice.
I had him come out. I was doing that thing at Guy Fieri's the other day. So I got Guy Fieri's at about 9:30, started drinking some Bloody Marys about 9:30 in the morning. Rudy rolled on through. We had a good time watching the USA game. Did you get a chance to watch a game?
I did not.
Man, it's so being at Caesars right on top of it, I put a couple of bets down.
Okay.
One on USA to win, and I would given up a half a point, made more sense spread-wise. And then I took another one, was a parlay, USA to win and Pulisic to score a goal. I got plus 350 on that. Let's just say if I wanted to go to New York with you, it would have paid for my ticket and trip. So I might have to hit you up and see what's going on. Are you going to watch the game on Saturday morning?
Well, it depends on if I decide to drive up Saturday to attend the newly released information about the rally in New York Saturday. So we'll
I was
see.
shocked. I was shocked when I saw this because I know you haven't planned on doing something. And
Yeah.
we have our Mess Hall listener line. If you guys ever want to reach into the show, text us. You can do that at 202-677-5860. And one of our listeners, Barrett, actually sent us the information that the Commanders are doing a rally on 12/3 from 5 to 7 p.m. at Dorian's. Dorian's is at East 84th and 2nd Avenue in New York. And have you been there before to Dorian's?
Yeah. When the organization would have rallies years prior, I want to say 2019 was the last one. That's where the New York rallies are always held at Dorian's.
Nice.
It's a nice little spot. Yeah.
I've never been. I mean, I've been to a bunch of games in New York just because I used to travel up there all the time, but they're doing another one now. And you can meet Washington legends, win giveaways, get hype with fellow fans as the Commanders prepare to take on the New York Giants. So I don't know if they got jealous after seeing what you pulled off in Houston. That's what I'm going to chalk it up to, considering how many hundreds of fans you got together. But this will be another nice break like Indy was for you because you don't got to worry about planning it. You just get to come up there and relax.
If we decide to do that, definitely I'll be able to sit back, relax, and take pictures and kiss babies. I mean, that's what I like.
And get some free drinks, hopefully. You never know, man. Someone might get you a beer or something.
You never know.
But if anyone is going up to New York, hit me up. I've got a tailgate for all y'all to go out to. I'll get you the guy's info too. He actually sent me a message.
Cool.
Giant super fan. And that rally is going to be Saturday night. So if you do go up Saturday, I probably won't be able to make it. But if you guys end up going on Sunday, I'll have to figure something out. But speaking of moving up the chains, we were 16th in the NFL power rankings. We all saw what happened last week. Where do you think we are now?
Well, Ted, this week, curiosity got the best of me and I looked.
Oh,
right? Yeah.
You're killing me, man.
Well, you know what? It was just right there in front of me. And I mean, I had to click the button to select it to see, because I mean, we've been getting all this good press, and don't hurt me, but I won't look next week, regardless of what happens. I won't look.
All right, there you go.
But we've been getting so much good press, and the news has been on the upswing to where it said, I forgot what the headline said, and I was like, huh, and I clicked it and I saw it. So you go ahead and let it out, man.
It is nice to finally read stuff that isn't about Dan Snyder and investigations. For those wondering, it's Wednesday, November 30th at 4:16. We were going to record earlier, but I was on with Fox 5 talking about stuff. And they sent me a kind of rundown of what we're going to talk about. And on the rundown, it said Dan Snyder investigation and tailgating and fan reaction and this and that during the rundown. And I had to reply back to them and say, which investigation are we talking about? Because there are a couple going on right now. So I got to, bone up on which one you guys want me to chat about. And it is so nice reading things about this playoff push and our odds to actually make it and the different scenarios and positive stuff for a change, man. And I'm not going to fault you for, peeking at a copy of the test ahead of time. It's all right. But for those of our listeners that don't know, we were 16th. We moved up to 13th on the NFL power rankings. And
3 spots.
We were as low as I think 31st since we've been doing this, or 30th. And now we're up to 13th. And what NFL.com says is the qualifications for the comeback player of the year are nebulous to start with. So let's dispense with any overthinking and give the damn award to Brian Robinson Jr. The rookie running back was shot twice in the leg during an attempted robbery in August, made it back to the field in October, and at the end of November, looks like the physical difference maker the Commanders thought they were getting when they made him a 3rd-round pick last April. On Sunday, Robinson registered his first 100-yard rushing performance and added a truck stick receiving touchdown in a dramatic win over the Eagles. Pairing this version of Robinson with a bruising Washington defense constitutes a roadmap to more wins for the surging Commanders.
I'll take that.
I'm nervous, man, because it was easier when we were the underdog.
Yeah.
But now we're favored against New York. And last I checked, it was 2.5. So meaning if it was a neutral site, we would be 5.5-point favorites over the Giants, which I feel is a little much because getting into the Giants and what's going on, they're not the same Giants over the past couple of weeks. They were pretty banged up, but they're getting a bunch of guys back this week.
Yeah.
So 5.5-point favorites. I'm not sure if Vegas is trying to get some money back after losing it when we were only against the Falcons last week.
Man, I'm with you. I'm a little nervous, but at the same time, I've got to be realistically seated and say our guys can go up there and handle their business. I really do feel that because it's been a long time since we've been favored, man. It just has been. And so I'm just hoping that, as I made on my Facebook post, hey, don't start smelling yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself, because we all know that the Giants have had our number. When we needed it the most, we've made the Giants look like all-stars. So the last thing I want to do is go up there too confident. And I don't think that they will. I think the coach is going to have them ready to play.
And to me, it's not even the coaches. It's John Allen. We said it before. It's Terry. It's those guys that are going to hold their teammates accountable, because the victory speech after we beat Houston was, don't settle for this. If we would have played this way against the Eagles, we would have lost on Monday night. So it's those guys I feel are going to make sure we're ready. But heading into this game, we got some guys that are banged up that, more importantly, I think are going to be a big problem. And okay, Dax Milne not there. No offense to Dax Milne, but Alex Erickson catching punts, Dax Milne catching punts, other than the number on their jersey, there's no difference for me. But Benjamin St-Juste did not practice today with an ankle, so he was not out there during the media portion. Right. Trey Turner did not practice today with a knee and an ankle. He got knocked out versus the Falcons, and he was able to go back in and finish the game after a couple of drives later. But the good news is the team did activate Wes Schweitzer's 21-day clock. So if Turner isn't able to play, Schweitzer could come in. I just don't know what kind of game shape he's going to be in, considering he's been gone for some time. I think he was out with a concussion. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The other notables, Antonio Gibson was limited with a foot. I think that's just something that's going to nag him all season. We all know that he missed some time and Jonathan Williams came in during the Falcons game, but AG finished out the game. Tyler Larson has a shoulder. He was limited. Logan Thomas, a rib. Chase Young, his knee. But the good news is Chase did practice. And Coach Rivera also said on his podcast with JP Finley that because of Chase being ready, he does not care about him coming out and actually playing at the Meadowlands turf. And the Meadowlands turf is trash, or MetLife Stadium, whatever the hell it's called now.
Yeah, MetLife Stadium.
So I was concerned that we weren't going to see Chase until the Giants game after the bye. But Rivera said if Chase is ready to go, he's ready to go. They don't care what type of field they're going to be playing on. What do you think? Would you want to hold him out, or would you want to put him out there if he is 100% ready?
If he's 100%, play him. Definitely play him. And the only way that he's going to obviously get better and truly in football shape is to take true football snaps. So if he is 100% legit, ready to go, then definitely put him on a pitch count and let him get his win back, because we all know that trying to jog in place or run around the track is nothing compared to going up against a live body.
Yeah, it's not like having a Peloton. I mean, you can have a Peloton and simulate bike riding, with some of those instructors. I think I've yelled and cursed at them a couple of times, sitting on there like, stop yelling at me. But, running around the track out there in Ashburn definitely ain't the same as football reps. But interestingly enough, Sam Cosme today was taking reps at right guard. So he has been coming in during the past couple of weeks on a rotation at tackle, but they're talking about putting him in at right guard. And I don't know if that's because maybe they want to move Norwell over because Turner's banged up or what, but that will be an interesting development to see. Because to me, if your guys can play both ways, then you put your best 5 guys out there. And if we have a chance, Cosme's an athlete, to have him on that field with the other best guys, then hey, let's take advantage of it, because we are going to need all the help we can get, because the Giants have a duo up front. Now, they're not Payne and they're not Allen, but their guys, where's their name here? Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence are pretty damn good against the run.
Yeah.
And we've got to worry about those guys up front. So our interior is going to have to be stout, because that interior pressure, I feel, is something that gives Heineke some issues. It's also where you see him kind of overthrowing balls across the middle that end up getting picked. So it'll be interesting to see what we do. But heading into this match versus the Giants, we did sweep them last season. Now, Daniel Jones only played in one of those games, but we did end up sweeping them. So maybe we still got that broom in the closet and we can take it with us up 95. The Giants have lost 3 of their last 4 games. They were pretty injured, but they've got a bunch of guys, kind of like we've got Schweitzer ready to come back, that are designated to return. So one of their guards, Ben Bredesen, I'm going to butcher these guys' names, he's ready to come back. Tony Jefferson, ready to come back. And they've got a linebacker, Ojulari, who's ready to come back off IR. And I don't know if any of y'all remember, but he had 8 sacks last year. He was a rookie. He actually did really well for them, and he is set to be ready. On top of that, Daniel Bellinger is one of their tight ends. Very talented. He actually got knocked out in week 7 with a fractured eye socket, but he was limited in practice today, and he is a threat to catch that ball. And what I'm concerned about is these guys are coming back now and starting to get healthier. Now, just like we said, is Wes Schweitzer going to be in football shape? We don't know what kind of shape these guys are going to be in. So are they going to be ready to go up against our boys? But they're more threats. And specifically Bellinger is going to be a threat, because my concern for this week is Daniel Jones and that RPO.
Yep.
The Falcons exposed us, man. And similar to kind of what we did to the Eagles and what the Texans did to the Eagles by showing that weakness that we just exploited, the Falcons exploited our weakness with Mariota and his run pass options and his quarterback keepers. And Daniel Jones likes to run on us. And that's got me a little bit concerned headed into this week. What about you?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. What scares me is the fact that not only can he run the ball, he's got a pretty good arm.
Yeah, better arm than Mariota.
Definitely. And he's a little bit more accurate than Mariota as well. I mean, he's torched us before. So I can't say Mariota's torched us. When we went to Tennessee, I mean, he played and he didn't do too much. We lost that game, but it wasn't because of necessarily him.
No.
But yeah, this guy, he scares me. And if you remember, once again, on the NFL Fox report, I said the Giants were the team that I was mostly afraid of. I said that. I didn't say the Eagles. I said the Giants.
Really?
So,
because of Daniel, or
Saquon, Daniel, and other attributes that they have around them. If you go back and listen to that Fox report that I did, I said that. And the Philadelphia guy says, nobody's worried about the Giants. Well, the captain said it. So you heard it here first or second.
If they would have asked me the same question, I would have said Dallas. But at that point, I don't think Dak was in. I think Dak might have been out, and it might have been Cooper. That was a quarterback. But to me, I'm more concerned about Dallas because Dak is a better quarterback than Daniel. And because he's got Zeke and Tony, not just Saquon, and because they've got Gallup and CeeDee over there. So to me, Dallas's offense is a little more worrisome, and not to put the cart before the horse, but if we do make it to the playoffs, we're talking maybe an NFC East divisional game that we would have to go into. And which team would you rather play if you're talking an NFC divisional game? The Eagles, the Cowboys, or the Giants? And for me, I would rather play the Giants if it's going to be an NFC East playoff divisional game, just because of we've actually held Saquon in check when we've played him. So I'm hoping we can have that same mentality. It's Daniel Jones that has actually killed us. And last year on the ground, we only played Daniel Jones in September because I guess he was banged up later. He had 95 yards rushing, averaged 10.6 yards per carry, and had a rushing touchdown. And that's really what worries me. And this is actually what John Allen said with the Sports Junkies this Tuesday on 106.7 The Fan.
You faced the Giants this week. You faced Daniel Jones a bunch. What do you think of him?
I think Daniel Jones is a guy who will hurt you with his legs if you let him. And on top of that, if you get too enamored with his legs, he can take your top off and hit you over the top deep. And on top of that, they got Saquon Barkley. So for me, immediately as a defensive lineman, we got to be able to stop this run with a light box. Give safe guys in the back end help. Let us do what we do up front and dominate the line of scrimmage. And I think we have a good opportunity to do that. But, they're a really good football team. So we'll see, man. I'm super excited, man. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, man. These are do-or-die games right now.
And this game is do or die for the Giants. They can't afford to lose this game because they've got us, and then they've got the Eagles, and then they've got us again. So you're talking 3 straight NFC East games these guys are playing, and their backs are against the wall. And you know what they say about a wounded animal when his back's against the wall.
Yeah.
So that's what concerns me going into this game. And I'm more concerned about the Giants running game. Granted, the Falcons had a good run game. The Giants are averaging $151 on the ground. But just like you said a minute ago, it's the fact that Daniel Jones can hit those play action passes. It's the fact that Daniel Jones actually has an arm and can actually throw that ball and make us pay if we try and stack that box against the run. And I'm hoping we have a better game plan because we've got to do something. Now, the good news is the Giants are only averaging 180 yards through the air. So that's not a ton. But if BSJ doesn't play, then I'm worried about Christian Holmes getting torched and having to cover Darius Slay. And that's not exactly a matchup that's favorable for the Commanders.
No, it's not. But the rookie held his own last week. And I think that he'll be able to hold his own this week as well. I really do. Will it be difficult for him? Of course it will be. But he's a pro. And he started in college. He went through the ranks being a nobody to somebody to now on the Commanders, a nobody to somebody once again. So I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about Bostic. Bostic did pretty good last week, but I'm really wondering how he's going to be able to handle if they put that receiver or running back in the flat. Is he going to be able to cover him? I'm not. For once you can hear me say I'm not worried about Jamin Davis. Yeah, I have. Jamin has proved himself, and he gets the crown. So it's the other guy, Bostic, the other linebacker, who really has me kind of saying, ooh, because I can see him just getting violated just a little bit.
And that's why I'm brought up Bellinger's name earlier, their tight end, because that guy is a major threat in the passing game for the Giants because they don't have a ton of receivers other than Slayton. And if Bellinger does play, and he was limited today, I think that means we're going to have a serious matchup problem on our hands because Bostic played 47 snaps last week versus the Falcons. The good news is the Falcons didn't have Kyle Pitts, but the tight end they did have still had some decent numbers, and that guy is nowhere near Bellinger's status. And what I'm wondering and hoping we do is I would like it if we spied Daniel Jones, because Mariota had what was it, 49 yards in the game. They had 100 yards rushing in the first half. We made some adjustments coming into the second half. Mariota only gained 12 more yards. So they definitely stepped up, but we can't do what we did against the Falcons with the Giants because we've got a chance to, if we can put these guys away and slow them down early, then I'm not as concerned. And we've talked about this before. This is really the key to all the Commanders games. If you can turn your opponents one-dimensional. But for these guys, okay, if we slow down Saquon, we've also got to slow Daniel Jones down with his legs too. And I think the only way we do that is if we have Defoe spying Daniel Jones, having him waiting in the wings, up in that box, ready to go. Because if he does need to back off, he can hopefully help out on the tight end. But if he doesn't, then maybe we get a chance to go after Daniel and put his ass in the ground and pull a Ridgeway and suplex him.
Well, where would you put Curl?
Curl will be back. I mean, to me, Curl is going to be back there helping out Christian Holmes.
He's a better cover, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's better cover. Have him go back there and bracket. But to be able to have Defoe up close and somewhat spying Daniel Jones and maybe not tipping his hat, because Bostic is a liability if you're running a sweep, if you're running outside. And I went back and I watched a couple of their games, and they do like to run, and it's a copycat league. The same jet sweep that we run with Curtis Samuel and we did with Terry, they like to do the same thing. So some of my concern is we're going to get guys crashing down and stuck on the inside because they're so worried about this RPO. And next thing you know, we got a sweep coming around. So I don't know how many snaps Bostic gets this week, but if he gets 47% of snaps this week, like he did last week, I think that's a liability on our side because he does not have the speed. And I'm trying to look at actually Cole Holcomb went on IR last week. We didn't actually mention it, but he went to see a foot specialist last week. And why it took him that long to see a foot specialist, I don't know. But I'm almost positive they put him on IR last week. So he is not going to be around. Yeah.
No. Yeah, he won't be. I'm thinking it's one of those things. It's like when you have a cold, you say, okay, after the third day, it should get better, but it never does get better. And you say, finally, all right, man, let me go to the doctor. And you find out you got freaking pneumonia. That's how I'm taking it. Hey, it feels a little bit better. It feels a little bit better, but then it doesn't get any better. And then finally, all right, look now, because it's not getting any better, I've got to see someone else. And so that's what I think has happened to him.
Yeah. I just wish they would have did it earlier because it's not like he was practicing. He's just sitting there. He's not doing anything. So make him go see a specialist. Someone call him an Uber, maybe get him an Uber, and then have him go stop by someplace at Ortho, Virginia, whoever the hell their partner is for the center out there, and go get that foot looked at. Why are you waiting several weeks? Because, okay, you bring up a Milo Eifler. I'm sorry, but if Milo Eifler is what you think is going to help stop the Giants, you're sorely mistaken.
Hey man, maybe his NFLPA benefits didn't kick in yet. His Cobra didn't kick in yet until after 3 weeks, and he had to check it out after that, man.
I think it's just us being stubborn like usual, man. It's just J.D. McKissick has a problem with his neck, but yet you don't put him on IR for 3 weeks. Just different stuff like that. He's not going to be ready. He's not going to be available. They make it to the point of you can have these short-term designations. So take advantage of it, free up the spot and stop playing games. But we all know they like to do that. And speaking of games, the game plan against the Falcons, you would think would be similar to the game plan against the Giants. And this is what Rivera had to say about it.
Ron, did playing Atlanta last week and playing Mariota give you kind of a good scout for this week?
I think so. I mean, when you watch some of the stuff that they do with Daniel Jones and knowing some of the things that he's done in his past against us, I think it really does help us. I will say one of the things that I was real appreciative last week is really the adjustments we made going into the second half. I thought Jack and the staff did a nice job adjusting to the way they were playing with Marcus, especially in that last drive when we eventually did get the turnover. There were a couple times when they tried to run quarterback keeps and we were all over it. And I think that's important, because it will carry over to this week.
So we all know how we had to stop the Falcons and we didn't do it. And I'm hoping that when those guys are going through installs tomorrow, that JDR beats the hell out of them, because, we're beating a dead horse now, but we got to make sure that Daniel does not use his legs. But the good news is the Giants are bad against the run. They're 26th against the run. So they give up 138.9 yards per game. And if Brian Robinson and if AG and Jonathan Williams can get that ball moving, and we don't let Heineke drop back for 28 plus attempts, I think we can leave MetLife Stadium with a dub. I mean, what are your thoughts? What are your keys for us to having to head back down 95 with a smile, as Robin would like to say?
Don't let Heineke throw over the middle in the pocket. That I'm serious. That's one that I see. And that long out that almost got picked off, don't have him throw that either. Because he can get picked off. He's susceptible to getting picked off. So play to his strengths. If it means having him even run the ball, even though I know they don't really want to do that, but maybe it's our time to give them a little read option, because they won't expect it. Maybe once or twice, and just limit the mistakes. That's it, man. This isn't anything that is hard to do. We know it needs to be done. We've been here before, several weeks now. So let's just go out there and produce.
And that's the thing. This is a NFC East game. We all know how these go. We see the Giants all the time. And I'm right there with you. There were a couple times against the Falcons where Heineke could have ran for a first down. Yep. Instead, he tried to do like a cute little Brett Favre, throw it up in the air, jump pass, and just different stuff. And he's got 61 yards on the ground this year. He had 313 last year. Oh, okay, he played 16 games last year. He's played 6 this year. So different story. But I'm sorry, the man neutered himself. He took away his best asset, and he's still using it in the pocket, buying himself time. But he is no longer a threat to run, and he took that away. So some of those linebackers that normally would have creeped up, so maybe that over the middle pass would have been open, aren't doing that. And they're dropping back because they know Taylor's refusing to run. Heineke, even though coach said this is his job, Heineke knows he is one hit away from Carson coming back in or Sam Howell coming back in, and he doesn't want to put himself at risk. He can slide better than Bobby Three Sticks. So take advantage of the rules.
Better than Bobby Three Sticks.
Yeah, man. Take advantage of the rules. Use your legs.
Foot first, too. Foot first, not head first.
Yeah, definitely not head first. That's not a slide. Yeah. But it's just so many times we had a chance to extend some drives. We were 5 for 13, I think, or 5 for something like that last week. If he can start to use his legs and not put it all on Brian and AG to get some of those yards, if we can stay ahead of the chains, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 2nd and 7, we got a chance to grind this thing out and win this game. And if the defense can do what they have been doing and holding opposing teams to just not those big explosive plays, we definitely got a shot at jumping up to the 6th seed. And man, I never saw this coming. 0 chance I gave us to getting back in the hunt. I mean, looking at it now, the Cowboys are 8-3, Giants are 7-4, we're 7-5. We still got Dallas to play at the end of the year. I mean,
hey Ted, we can make it work, right?
They need to hit you back up, man. You need to reach out to that Fox producer I got you in touch with and call her back up so they can do a continuation on that story. Because it's unreal what's happening right now. And all I'm trying to do is my mouth, my face hurts from smiling so much.
Yeah.
Because it's looking great. The future's looking bright for us. And for me, my keys to winning the game are similar to yours, but it's, shutting down Daniel Jones's legs and forcing him to beat you with his arm. and not allowing him to do so. And if we don't have BSJ back there, then it's next man up. Doc Walker likes to say, next man up. I don't give a damn who it is. You're on this team. So it's your turn now. And I've got a feeling this defense is going to be ready because, yeah, they might get Evan Neal back, one of their guards, but sorry, he's not going to be in shape to deal with John and Duran and Montez
Bring that heat.
or James Smith-Williams.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed these boys can do it. But who is your Woodbridge Collectibles signature player of the week? Who has got to deliver that moment to make sure we're all smiling like Robin? And did you know she's going to the game?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm assuming she'll be hitting you up for that rally now.
Well, she asked me earlier, was I doing it? And I said no. And I told her my plan, and as I just told everyone else, my plan was to drive up Sunday morning. But now this rally's going on, I'm rethinking some things because I am the rally captain. And so it's not a rally without me, I would think, right?
It's definitely not a rally without you.
But so I'm going to say our defensive end play, man, not to be able to hit Daniel the way we hit Mariota, hit him. That's the only way that you can stop that read option. You know, you gotta. We need good defensive end play. I think if we can get good defensive end play, we can shut that down and make them do something else. So that's who I think my Woodbridge Collectible players. See, I'm not doing one. I'm players. My end play. That's what I need.
All right, so you can't give me a hard time because last week you gave me a hard time for choosing the running game, which did win it for us.
You did. So no, and it's tit for tat. See, I learned from you. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Players, our defensive end play to me is going to be key. I'm not, from what I've saw with Duran and the other guy, they were double and triple teaming these guys. I'm not sure if you saw the film, but they were triple teaming these guys, Duran and Allen. So I'm not worried about that. They know how to handle that. It's my defensive ends. Can they keep their head on a swivel and look for that quick little pass? Because there were a couple times when the ball was around them already, and they were still looking in the backfield, and like they got lost in the sauce. So give me some good defensive end play, and I think that we'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean Montez Sweat, F.A. Obata, James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill, and hey, Chase, if he's out there. And the thing is, they've got to be disciplined. That is the only way you stop an RPO. Being disciplined and taking your man. Your defensive end is assigned to a guy, and either your linebacker or a safety is assigned to a guy. So one guy gets a running back, one guy gets a quarterback. If one guy doesn't take the guy he's assigned to, that's where it breaks down. And that's what happened earlier on in the game against the Falcons. So you're spot on. If those guys can do what they're supposed to do, then we can definitely make it out of there. But for me, it's Defoe. I think he's going to be key. If their tight end is back, then I want Defoe marking that guy. And if he's not back, I want Defoe spying on Daniel Jones. He had 11 tackles last week. He had 8 solo. It's one of his first times without a turnover in a couple of weeks. It'd be nice for Defoe maybe to get one this week, and we shut down that Giants offense because they're not world beaters. These guys, they want someone to put them out of their misery. And that's our job to do this Sunday. Let's go up to New York. Let's whoop on these Giants. Let's head into that bye week, get healthy, and then beat their ass again back at FedEx Field.
Oh, that sounds good to me, man. That sounds really good to me.
But with that being said, man, I'm ready to go. I'm going to have me a Victory New York strip after the fact. Let's take these Bamas on, and you let me know how that rally goes on Saturday night.
Well, speaking of victory sirloins, so many people now have said, hey, man, I get a victory steak now. You turn me on to something. And I'm like, really? Wow. Who knew, man? Who knew? But that's something that I've been doing for a long time now after a win, getting a victory steak. And I started that back in 2013. So just love to do that. And yeah, New York, here we come, batting down the hatches, because the burgundy and gold tide is coming your way. Once again, guys, I want to thank you on behalf of Tailgate Ted and myself. I want to thank you guys for watching, listening, subscribing, liking. Thank you, guys. It really goes a very long way. And at the end of the day, you rep it hard or you don't rep it at all. Rally Captain, Tailgate Ted. We're out.